try it now.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
I was turning it on to look. Oh man, we said some good stuff.
Yeah, we'll say it again.
Well, the good news.
And you do get a free turkey for camping at Sasquatch Farm on Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hey,
That's great.
so turkey's coming.
Yeah.
Can they hear us better now?
Yes, now he hears.
Now we're here.
So let's promote her again.
Let's just start all over again, folks. We're sorry about that. My name is Duke Ralston. I'm here with Brooke Brandt and Tony Mangiemeli for Marion County Hardball. We are on a fantastic set, Sasquatch Farms, located on top of South Pittsburgh Mountain. It's an RV park, a campground, and a piggy store, which has a very eclectic sampling of merchandise, very rustic, really nice. They have over 5 miles of trails, hiking trails. They have a 110-foot waterfall, and they have lakes and fishing available. It is a great place to come and spend the weekend. It's not too far from home. Mountain residents get in for free. So plan your next trip, plan your next staycation to Sasquatch Farms. And we want to thank Julie Bernard. Julie Bernard has allowed us to host this interview here and has been kind enough to donate the video and audio equipment that we're using, which is a significant upgrade. Thank you, Julie.
So you guys are going to love it. You're not going to have the camera going side to side. Yep. You're not going to have buzzes in the background and all that good stuff, too. But also, I want to say something about this place. Me and my wife is out here as well. We love this place. What's nice is, you know, if you want to go on a quick little stay vacation like you mentioned, you can come here. It's only a half-hour away from Jasper, and it's got great campsites. They're clean, great hiking trails. The store is amazing, so everything you need in the store is here. I'm even looking at a couple video games over there if you want to play Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man over there. But
always,
it's a great place, yeah. And thank you for purchasing this stuff as well.
Yes.
I also want to say, well, first of all, I'm Tony Mangiemeli. I'll be running for County Commissioner, District 3, Seat B as in boy. This is the first time I've made this announcement. I want to make sure everybody knows Seat B as in boy. I talked to the gentleman that's in that seat right now. He's well aware this is not done in a malicious way, and he concurs with that decision as well. Also, mark your calendars down for November 3rd. I'm working with Walmart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase 100 turkeys for any families that are in need of a turkey. So, but it's not for everybody. So, for instance, if Thanksgiving dinner isn't going to be a burden on you, please let the people come in front of you and get those turkeys, because I really hate it that Thanksgiving could be a burden to some of the people here. I'm purchasing the turkey. So I'm going to purchase the first 100 turkeys, and I think I can squeeze a few more turkeys out of Walmart. I'm working with them right now. But me and Duke will do another quick thing promoting just that, just so you guys know where to meet, what time to meet, and the exact day to meet. So we're going to be doing that as well. So that's all I have to say.
And Julie, you said something about you're going to be giving a turkey out?
That's
Everybody that comes camping at Sasquatch Farm on Thanksgiving gets a turkey for free.
And again, Julie, it's for us, the equipment is phenomenal.
Yes.
So, especially for Marion County Messenger, which is a platform. No, Duke, this makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. Game changer, yes.
So we'll kind of jump into the interview. Tony, thank you for running. I'm always appreciative, whether I agree with everything that's said by all of the commissioners. I still admire each and every one of them for being there, because it's not easy. It's a difficult job. You asked to come on tonight to discuss some of the things that are going on, maybe some of the ugly things that are being said, and you'd like to address our audience about Jasper Highlands. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, it's funny how out of thousands of people here, it's the 0.00001% that have the loudest voices, right? Which is just crazy. But those are the voices you hear, and that's when you hear the negative comments. One of the comments is oh, these people are in bed with Rourke, and he's just pushing his agenda. That's not true. This is called Hardball. These are these two gentlemen, and as you say, for every interview, anybody's wrong. Everyone's wrong, and you're going to be interviewing everyone. from sheriff to mayor to county commissioner.
Congressman too. We actually
Yeah.
have
We have a
a
potential
congressman.
Yeah.
So this is their show.
No, running for Congress.
Running for Congress.
So this is their show. Just because someone might be on the show, there's no hidden agenda. So we gotta stop that there.
And for those folks that don't know, my background is from the Democratic Party.
Right.
And Rick's, of course, is from the Republican Party.
Right.
So,
And you know, and it's not scripted by any means. I mean, I'm a nervous wreck before I even come on the show every time. You know, I was joking around and asking, "Did anybody got a shot of whiskey?" You know, it's stressful being up here because it's live, right? So there's no room for error, right? I can't make a mistake. The whole public's going to see every mistake I make. So it's scary. I don't know what questions are going to come at me. So it's not scripted. God, I wish it was because it'd make my life a lot easier. I know what's coming at me.
And the nonpartisan part of it, and we've all together discussed this. When it comes to local politics, it's really not about R&D because I really think that it's the commission itself and the government, that if there's a pothole out there, it's not an R&D issue.
Right.
So I think at this point we would welcome and love to hear different opinions because you learn from other people, and I hope that folks aren't fearful of coming on here because we're not here to make you look bad. We're here to pick your brain and know what you really believe in and get an idea so that our voters, their precious vote goes to the right person.
And so what I've seen so far is all your questions are pretty fair. You know, just saying that. But I personally wish we as a society can get rid of the party lines. I wish we can get rid of the D and rid of the R. I really do. It really should be the best man for the country.
That's right.
I don't care if he's a Democrat. I'm a full-on Republican conservative. But God honest truth, if a Democrat was running for president and he had better policies than the Republican president nominee, I'd vote for that Democrat all day long. Because it has to be what's best for the country. And in this case, it has to be what's best for this county. Right? It shouldn't matter where you're from, what color you are, what religion you are, what if you're Democrat or Republican. It should be the best county commissioner, it should be the best mayor, and the best sheriff. Right? What does it matter if I was born and raised here, or if I was born and raised in Mars? Because I'm still Tony Mangiemeli. I still got the same morals. I still have the same beliefs, and I still have the same, respect that I would give to everybody. So it really shouldn't matter. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I get it. If I was born and raised in Jasper, and all I knew about Californians was what I see on the news, I wouldn't want that movie. Mm-hmm. But you guys got to realize the majority of people that have left California to come here, they left for a reason, right? They left because they didn't like the politics there. That's why they came here. And there's a lot of good people you're missing out on. Here's a prime example. This book here. Here's a receipt. I bought this in California. It's copywritten in California, okay? It's dirty, it's written on, it's got some dirt on it. You're gonna look at this book and you're gonna go, this is an old book. It's no good. Let's throw it away. Here's the funny thing. If we take this cover off, look at that. It's the Holy Bible. It's a good book. We can't be judging books by the cover. You can't be saying they're from Jasper Highlands, they're no good, because that's just useless. There are so many people up there that donate their time. That people don't know, right? I understand you're angry, but I think you're putting your anger at the wrong place. I think you're putting, they're mad at John Thornton for taking away their playground, right? This is their childhood playground. This is where they went and rode motorcycles and this and that. Now you guys come in here and think we're better. No, we don't think we're better. A lot of misconception is everyone up there is filthy rich. That's not true. Majority of the people there are retired firefighters, police officers, military men that live off their pensions. I've talked to multiple military men that says, Tony, while they're building their house, if the contractor makes another change, I can't. I gotta leave. Mm-hmm. I can't afford to build my house. So no one here has an abundance of money. I mean, there are people up there who are rich, don't get me wrong. But a majority of them, they're not. And they donate their time. They donate their time to mark and bed, to build the beds and all that stuff. There's so many people up there that donate their time. But that's
I hear the problem. What's the solution?
Well, it's funny. It was brought up at I went to another campaign meeting the other day, and that was brought up as well. And the way to fix it is the people up in the Highlands need to put themselves out, right? They need to get out there in the general public, in the valley, donate your time, talk to them. When you're in the grocery line, talk to them. Let them get to know you, right? Go to every gathering. You know, like I think tonight is South Pittsburgh's having a trunk or treat, right? Get down there, walk around, socialize, you know, support the local businesses, support the local events, put yourself out there. That's unfortunately what it's going to take, right? The people in the valley, they don't have to do anything really. They just got to get to know the people and give them a chance, right? But it's really up to us people that live in Jasper Highlands to get out there and get known and to introduce yourself and let them know we're not these evil people that you think we are. You know, it's just silly. It's just not true. I mean, I love this state and I love this valley. And you guys might think this is silly, but I tattooed the state logo on my hand. I love this state. I got my area code, zip code right here on my hand of Jasper. I love this. I wouldn't do that if I didn't love this city, right? And I know that this doesn't make me a Tennessean, right? But as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Tennessean. And when people ask me where I'm from, I don't like to say where I'm from because unfortunately politics in California ruined that state for me, and that's what sucks.
Okay, let's jump into a little bit more cantankerous stuff. As a non-native resident seeking a commissionership in the 3rd District, have you personally experienced attacks or hostility due to being labeled as an outsider?
Since I've run for county commissioner or since I moved here?
Let's give your experience since you moved here.
Well, early on,
I mean, do you see it? Do you feel it? Is there a difference on how you're treated? I mean,
I think it's changed. It's changed a lot, but I did it to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I put myself out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people down in the valley know me, right? And it's almost like I was a politician before I became a politician, right? Because I'm just nice to everybody. I love everybody. I love this area so much because everyone's so friendly, and I just love talking with people. So it's changed. But I remember when we first moved here, we were at Whiskey Throttle. It's before it was Whiskey Throttle. And we met this couple, we're having a great time, we're talking to them, and we're dancing, the music was playing. As soon as they found out we were from the Highlands, they turned it back. Mm-hmm. I went, whoa, what's that all about? Oh, you're from the Highlands, you think you're better than us. I mean, we just had a conversation for the past 2 hours. Mm-hmm. You know, but now you're going to judge me because where I'm from? You see how silly that is? And of course I changed their opinion because that's what we needed. We can't get mad at that. We got to change their opinion. So, is it still happening? I see it more happening to other candidates that aren't from here. Because I know when I see it on social media with your guys' show, and I see them talking in the background and saying something, and it's disheartening because, like I said, it's only 0.0001% of the population here that's doing it. It's not, but they're being so ugly about it. It gives a false impression to the new people here that it's everyone that thinks that way about me, and it's just not true. And that's what saddens me. So, you know, I wish that would change, and I think eventually it will change. I think it's going to take some time. I think if any of us get elected, I think they're going to see, it's not as bad as we thought it was. You know, they're actually doing a good job. They actually care about this place. You know, I know you get a lot of slack, right? And I just want to go on public to say, why? You know, because he goes against and fights the government, because if you see something that's not right and you go against it, you know, you go against the grain, you know, that might bother some people maybe how he handles it, but still, as a county commissioner, if you see something that's wrong or might be corrupt, you should question it. You know, you don't want someone to stay quiet and let the corruption keep going and going and going. That's just my opinion.
You know, I was wondering if, since, like you said, you're a non-native, do you see that there is a structure where we don't have checks and balances, and we don't have a legislative arm of government that's not tied to the executive branch? Because what I've experienced is that it's like all together, and there is no checks and balances. Are you seeing that right now as a candidate?
Yes, I do. Now, I'm still very green at this, right? I'm still green, meaning I'm very new at this. And from the little bit I have seen, I do see it. It's like, wait a minute, you're this and you're that, and you're that and you're this. You know, where it should be either you're this and that's it, and then let someone else do this, so there's be some checks and balances, right? So I do see it. And am I educated enough to tell you it's 100% corrupt? I don't know that. I'd have to dig in it more.
We're not using the word corrupt,
Yeah,
maybe wrongdoing.
Wrongdoing, is there
Word
something
proper
that's
might be
improper
a
handling of certain situations?
Yeah.
I'm not educated on that subject, or I'm not in it yet, right? I'm not in your seat right now. So I'm not going to see what you see in detail, right?
You think there's some partisanship because you're a Republican that you're getting bashed, or do you think it's because you're an outsider?
Oh, 100% I'm outsider.
You think that's
Oh,
what?
100% I'm outsider, yeah. They hear the word California. First of all, I was born and raised in Florida. Just, as a matter of fact,
Julie's next.
me and Julie,
Hollywood,
we were
Florida.
born. I was born, and she was born. We're both from the same city, Hollywood, Florida. I got my morals and all that stuff from Florida. But anyway, people just hate California, and I don't blame them. Again, I don't blame them, right? So it's really that word is so ugly in people's vocabulary, and it's sad because California's a beautiful state. It's actually a great state, but the politicians there just ruined it, and that's why we left there. And it saddens us people who moved from there because we didn't want to leave such a beautiful state, you know. But the politics there just got so out of hand. I really felt like I was in backwards world, and I couldn't do it anymore. And again, it saddens me. But you know what? I've never been happier living here in Tennessee, and that's not a politician talking here. I wish I did this a long time ago. The beauty here is actually, I think, prettier than California. I know California has some pretty locations like Tahoe and the redwood trees and all that stuff. But me personally, if my people back home ask me, I love this place more. I really do. And I love you have the 4 seasons. You know, California's like perfect weather every day. People. I'd rather have the rain and the 4 seasons and let's see the leaves changing. And also, more important, again, this is not a politician statement. The people here, they're unmatched. They really are unmatched. You know, in California, I would get judged because of the tattoos, right? Here, it's crazy. They ask me, what military branch are you in? Are you an ex-police officer? You know, I was just at a fundraiser at the Just One More, which is Richard Rogers Foundation. And I was on this table full of very wealthy people donating money to Richard's Foundation. And I looked just like this, and they just welcomed me. You know, and they took me in, and they didn't care where I was from or how I looked, tattoos. They welcomed me and my wife, and I just felt that's why I love this place so much. And because of that, my faith has gotten strong. It's just brought me back to religion, and I just love it. Like I go to Mount Bethlehem in South Pittsburgh, and Lamar and Jarvis, and everybody there. I mean, I can get teary-eyed just talking about it. That's my family. That's what's crazy. Is I don't know these people from Madden when I first moved here, but now I consider family. Like I consider Jarvis like a father figure. I mean, it's just crazy. That's how much I love this place and the people here. I'm honored to be here. I'm blessed.
Where do you? I mean, we kind of have an idea, but where do you think a lot of the resistance is coming from? What group? What's your?
Well, it's funny, right? They're going to be able to explode, right? So we don't really know what group they're really in, right? You know, they could claim they're in this group, but are they in this group? They're probably going in this group because if you're really in this group, and I'm not saying too much as you can tell, if you're really in this group, you wouldn't be coming after this group, right? So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be frank, and I kind of brought it up already, but you know, I just think that there's a small group of people that just don't like you, and that if anyone's talking to you, they don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's silly because this is your guys' show. You know what I mean? So you guys all love, since this is, most of the country loves Trump, right? Because most people vote for Trump. So if Trump comes in there and they interview him and you all mad and I'm not going to like him, I mean, it's silly.
Yeah.
It's silly.
I often wonder, you know, if you've done something or if I've done something to the education part of Marion County, because it seems like some of the loudest voices are coming from educators, and I've have you done something to them? Because I don't know what I've done.
You know, I've tried to have a couple conversations with someone in that department. It hasn't worked out for whatever reason. Because I like to sit down with this person, just figure out, you know, what makes this person tick and just try to fix it. But, you know, I'd like to see the people, the kids here get a better education. I'm not saying they're getting a bad education. My daughter went through the system here, right? I have a daughter that went through the system in South Pittsburgh, and I saw firsthand the homework she was getting, the things she had to do, and I just scratched my head, and in her words, not mine, she didn't get an education. Mm-hmm. And that's not good, because that's how we grow this place, right? Is we get better jobs for these kids, mm-hmm. right? And the better jobs aren't going to come if we don't have educated people to go to these jobs, right? To fill those positions. So I'm not going to place blame on why the education here maybe isn't subpar, because I'd have to go to the school board, mm-hmm. and I'd have to find out why, right? I don't think it's a financial thing. I think from the little education I've done, the schools are getting great money for the kids to help them become better students. I just think maybe the curriculum, or the way the subjects they're learning, or maybe the way they're learning, or maybe the amount of homework, I don't know what it is. I have to find out. As a county commissioner, I have no problem finding that out. But I'd have to meet with the school, mm-hmm. and get educated on that and figure out what's the problem, how can we fix it, right? So I'm not going to blame, you know, the teachers or the principals or the vice principals, because I don't know. Yeah. But I think a smart thing to do is go to the school board and find out what can we do to help these kids, you know, especially football players, right? I mean, you know, I was a football player, and I know how it goes, right? I mean, I don't know how many times when I was playing football, the teacher would say, if you didn't have that jersey on, you'd be out of my class. You know, unfortunately, athletes, especially star athletes, they get special treatment, right? But you're not doing these kids any justice, right? Yeah. I mean, because everyone thinks you're going pro, mm-hmm. right? I thought I was going pro, right? That's just, when you're a kid and you're in a small town and a small school, you're basically a big fish in a small fish bowl, and you're going to shine, and you're going to flourish, and you're going to make all kinds of scores and catches and tackles, and I'm the best, and your head swells up, and you're going pro. But then when you don't go pro, or no college picks you up, and you have no education, now what? You're stuck in the system. Yeah. And then the welfare, right? So you have generation after generation after generation in the same welfare machine, and we got to stop it.
Well, the enthusiasm. I mean, we've been here, I don't know, close to 20, well, let's just say 20 years, and the enthusiasm for our schools and sports is phenomenal. And I think it's fantastic how excited everyone gets, and if there can be tweaks so that the education is as important as sports, that would be fantastic. But we'll see. Maybe when you get in there, you can do something.
It's funny you brought that up, because we put, and I love it. I love going to South Pittsburgh. I love going to Marion County. I love watching those football games, the fireworks. I mean, it's great,
it's
right?
Incredible.
I mean, the energy there is amazing. But last year, the property taxes in South Pittsburgh jumped up tremendously, and that's a big subject right now. Mm-hmm. Now everyone thinks it went up this year, but it actually went up last year. It went up tremendously, right? But yet, I just heard that South Pittsburgh is trying to get some money to charter a bus.
For what?
To charter a bus. Yeah. So what's wrong with the school bus? Right? I mean, if you're taking this money from the citizens, from property taxes going up tremendously, I think there's a time and place to ask for money, not to ask for money. And that's just my personal opinion. Not taking anything away from South Pittsburgh. South Pittsburgh's a great school, great football program, but we have to figure out why these property taxes go up. And I asked the gentleman who was in charge of that, and he stated that it's because we don't have enough sale income tax coming in. Meaning there's not enough businesses there bringing sales income tax coming in. So, okay, now we have to fix that, right? I mean, I think people who live in South Pittsburgh want their property taxes going down. I know I would if I lived there. So we have to figure out how are we going to get those businesses in? How are we going to get the right businesses in, right? Well, we have to get the infrastructure right. We got to educate our kids so they can fill those positions, because a big corporation that comes in here, they're going to look at all that. Do we have qualified people to fill these positions, right? Is the infrastructure there, right? We can't just throw these big businesses in here. And I'm not saying I want that. I'll be honest with you, I love the town of Jasper the way it is, but we can't stop change. It's coming. And that's why I'm getting involved in the county commission, because I know it's coming. I want to make sure it's done, right? I don't want to take away this beautiful small town.
How do you do that?
Oh, you gotta have the right businesses in. You gotta put them in the right spots, right?
What about spending? Do you think that our local government, like South Pittsburgh, having 135% tax increase, is it a spending problem? Because obviously now we're not talking about the county or the city. We really focusing on you. You're going to have taxing authority. So, in your mind right now, what I'm hearing you say, we're paying too much property tax.
In South Pittsburgh, yes.
Are we paying too much in the county?
I have to educate myself on that.
I mean, we have a great fund balance, but I mean, that's one of the questions you're going to tackle. Is, you know, it's coming. We are going to have a tax increase on property, and at what point are you not taxing the locals out of here?
Right. And that's what's going to happen if we don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be looked at.
And what's going to happen is who's going to get blamed for that?
And then there's another thing you can look at too.
People up in Jasper Highlands.
What's the possibility of, you know, you have all these great services. I've got a feeling that your local taxpayer would say, you know, I love having that, you know, that area mowed, and I love all these great services we have. But maybe we need to do things just a little different, just tighten our belt, you know, so that the folks can afford to stay here. Let's real quick shift gears and let Duke go into some questions.
Okay, so Rurik and I had spoken about letting you guys ask questions and putting information on Facebook and trying to get some questions. Tony called me the other day and wanted to do the same thing. So I went ahead, and as soon as we firmed up the interview, I put a Facebook post up and asked for some questions, and so here they are.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not scripted.
This is real not scripted, folks. Okay, so animal welfare and public safety.
Yes.
Many citizens have continuously voiced concern over the lack of county resources to protect animals that are victims of abuse or neglect. Do you believe establishing a county-supported animal protective service program, including a dedicated shelter, would strengthen public safety, improve community health, and reduce the burden on law enforcement and our current local rescue?
First of all, I'm a huge pit bull advocate. Matter of fact, my last dog, me and my wife Crystal, we rescued her. So I get a little teary-eyed again. We had her for 16 years. She was abused. She was burned with battery acid from the nose to the tail, left for dead on the side of the road. A police officer found her, brought her to the Humane Society. They went to euthanize her. She started kissing everybody. So we rescued her 17 years ago, and we just put her down last year. And that was hard. So, and animal shelters, I'm all for animal shelters. If you're going to get an animal, a dog, cat, rescue a dog or a cat from a rescue group, because they're the best dogs or cats ever. They know they're rescued. So, do I believe in rescuing? Yes. Do I believe in the government going to people's homes and saying, you're doing this wrong, doing that wrong? I like less government, right? I think that we could have maybe a separate organization that goes out and looks for stray dogs or any stray animals, get them the help, get them off the street, and get them into shelters so they can have a good life and maybe get saved by a family. And that will also make the public safer, because you don't have to worry about a vicious dog, if there is a vicious dog out there biting a person like that. And it would take the stress off of police officers. But as far as getting an organization to go to people's homes to see if they're abusing their dogs, I guess we'd have to have really solid proof of that. I just personally don't like the idea of government getting involved in people's personal stuff.
Okay.
So make sure you're for animal rescue.
Oh, 100%.
But you're not for animal control.
Correct.
So, recognizing that animal control and neglect cases often overlap with public safety and health issues, how do you see Marion County partnering with community organizations to create sustainable funding for an animal shelter and an animal protective service officer, potentially through grants, shared resources, or public-private partnerships without increasing taxes.
God, I don't see why we can't do that with both. I don't know why we can't get a grant from the government, if so be. Public interest groups, I don't see why not too. I mean, there's, that's a great way to use Jasper Highlands, right? Is to hold a fundraiser there. I think Mark does. Actually, Mark does do a fundraiser there over at that summit. Mm-hmm. And why not use those funds to help support these types of groups, organizations? But also with grants. I don't think you'd be able to raise enough funds publicly, unfortunately. Yeah. You're going to need those grants.
It's going to be expensive.
It's going to be expensive, yeah. So you're going to need both parties to help.
Okay. With that. A local nonprofit animal protective services in Marion Incorporated, Bo's Buddies, is currently working with the county and sheriff's department in collaboration with Mark to fill this gap in animal welfare resources. Would you support closer collaboration between the county and Bo's Buddies to establish a permanent shelter and a coordinated response for animal cruelty and neglect cases?
Again, why would we not want another shelter to help, put these animals in, right?
Yeah.
I think the last part was the last part.
The last part, let's see. Would you support closer collaboration between the county and Bo's Buddies to establish a permanent shelter and coordinated response for animal cruelty?
Again, with the cruelty thing is, I think what people, when they ask that question,
and neglect,
right? And neglect. I think what people, when they ask that question, because they feel that they're driving down the street and they see a dog chained up in someone's front yard and it's starving to death, mm-hmm. right? If the abuse is obvious, we got to get involved. At some point you got to make a stance, right? And like I said, I'm an animal advocate, and if I see a dog that's just bones, obviously there's neglect there, right? Obviously, unfortunately, someone needs to step in. That kind of goes against what I said earlier about the government getting involved. But when it's obvious like that, I hate this. Like, if there's a neighbor that just doesn't like you and your dog is healthy, but he's been left in the front yard, but he has a dog house and he's fine. I don't think the government should get involved with that, right? But when there's obvious neglect, I mean, the dog's just, the bones are showing, unfortunately, we have to step in.
If there's no grant that's available, because I admire what Michelle has been trying to do, and Mark. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And what they spend, Mark, I want to believe it was over $300,000 a year. Because that's a big endeavor. It's a very expensive thing. Would you support a tax increase if you can't get grant money?
No one ever wants to say we want to increase the taxes, right? I have to give you an honest answer, mm-hmm. right? Because I'm not a politician. I'm not going to lie and say, no raising taxes. I'm going to be real, and I'm going to say I have to educate myself, and I have to find out, okay, well, how much taxes do we really have to raise? How much money does these organizations need? And what type of impact is there going to be on our citizens? Sure. Right? If it's going to be a negative impact, because we don't live in the most wealthiest community, mm-hmm. right? Our county's not the most wealthiest. If it was, and everyone here was making $100,000 a year, then I'd of course, we got to raise taxes. Mm-hmm. They'll deal with it. They'll find a way to figure out a way. But that's not the situation we have. So I can't say I'm okay with that.
Have you thought of having a recycling center in Marion County?
From my knowledge, we do. Right? I mean, the garbage men that come pick up our garbage, you can pay for that service. So you can get recycled. Now, there was rumors, I remember people saying, oh, don't pay for that service because they don't really recycle. They just put it all in one place. Well, I don't like to go off what people say, so I did my own homework. I called up the garbage company myself. And I said, hey, is this true? I'm not going to pay for the service if you guys are just throwing it all together. He goes, no. The same trucks do pick up recycling and garbage and put it in the same truck. But once it gets to the facility, they separate. So there is something like that.
I think the convenience centers actually have a place for bottles, but that's the convenience center.
Convenience center.
I don't know if the garbage people, if they do it themselves.
From what I was told, the garbage company that picks up my garbage, mm-hmm. I did call them up and they said, and that's what they do. They'll throw it all in the same truck, and then they separate it at the facility. That's right. And that reminds me, I was at the Jasper town square streets, they handed out candy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I met a lady who mentioned something just like that, because I had my booth up there, and she said, I have a great idea. So why don't you get the dumps here to be open 24 hours a day through either a special code or there were cameras up there. And I thought that was a great idea. So if you're listening, I thought that was a great idea. But then I thought about it.
Yeah.
You got that big machine you got to operate. Yeah. And that's just a liability. So if you're watching, and if you remember meeting me at the place, now that I think about it, it's a liability. You can't just leave the place open and have all this garbage there on top of this machine, because then it won't work properly, right? And we can't let people operate that machine on its own. It just becomes a liability.
Somebody can get
So
hurt.
I thought it was a great idea, but then I started thinking, yeah, someone's going to get hurt. It's just, it wouldn't work out. But you did have a great idea.
So this is my final question. This is also a Facebook question. Explain the 5 elements of the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Really? That's the question you're going to give me? All right, let me think about this. First,
You asked.
Yeah, I did. But I'm going to answer that question. But what I mean by asking us candidates questions, not politician questions. First of all, I hate politicians because they all lie. But get to know these people. I love these guys, right? But hear me out. Not anybody in this county, I don't like. But hear me out. Ask the questions to get to know these individuals. To get to know what makes them tick. What's their beliefs? How, just get to know them on a personal level. That's what I meant by the questions. But let me answer this question. Okay. Freedom of speech. Freedom of assembly. Freedom of the press. Against the government. You get to petition against the government. And freedom of religion. Yeah. Got all 5 of them?
You got all 5 of them.
So let's talk about the freedom of speech. Is I think in our society now, it's getting out of hand, right? The freedom of speech. I'm all about freedom of speech. Don't get me wrong. That's what makes this country so great. But when you start making comments like we got to kill the president, that's I'm not saying we punish these people, but there's got to be some sort of punishment.
I think that question came from that particular person because of the way they were treated at the county commission meeting. I think that's where that came. Is that where it came from?
I think so.
Well, is that the gentleman who spoke up about economic?
But I'm thinking that's where
That was in the news about
yeah,
speech.
yeah. So I guess that's good that you're aware of that, because it's real important when someone does come to the county commission that they're treated with respect and dignity, and they look at them and say, hey, I appreciate you coming, whether I like what you say or not.
And that's why sometimes, I'll get angry because I treat everybody with respect. And I do that because I want respect.
Yeah.
So when I'm not given respect, then I might get a little upset. But because we should all, life's easy, right? All you can do is love and respect one another.
Yeah.
But as humans, we mess this up all the time, right? We make things complicated. We get rude or we do stupid things, but it's just silly. Life is so simple, and that's what's taught me moving here in this county, is that life is that simple. Love one another, be kind to one another. I don't care if you're purple, black, and yellow. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a liberal. I don't care if you're a Republican. We're all human.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, 100 years from now, they dig up your body, dig up my body, they're not going to know what you are.
That's right.
They're going to know you're a male,
Yeah.
and they're going to know I'm a male. That's it. And they're normal human. They're not going to know, oh, he was that hardcore conservative guy.
Yeah.
He was that tattoo guy.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that's it for my
Okay.
question. Do you have one more?
I do.
Okay.
And this isn't really for Tony. A statement was made about bankers and the commission and so on and so forth. And I just want the audience to know that when an interviewee makes a comment about something, that's their opinion. That's not the opinion of Duke or Marion County Messenger or Marion County Hardball, in my opinion. I do know the comment that was made. I had to look into it. The bankers that we have are good people, and I myself don't subscribe to it. It was implied, it wasn't actually stated, but anyhow, just know that that when an interviewee says something, that's their opinion. We also enforce that with an actual agreement when you come on the show that the interviewee is responsible for what they say. So
that's probably a disclaimer we should start putting on the show. The opinions of the people interviewed are theirs and not the opinions of the Marion County Messenger or Marion County Hardball.
Yeah. And see, isn't that sad that you guys have to do that? Right? You guys are trying to do something good. But yet, because of our society, what I just said, you have to do legal things like that because it hurts people's feelings.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's sad. I'm sorry.
And Melissa Pickett had a kind of comment that Marion County needs a homeless shelter. And what are your thoughts on such an important issue?
It is an important issue. I don't think it's good for this county. Unfortunately, when you have a homeless shelter, not being insensitive to homeless people, right? But if you bring a homeless shelter in this county, and I hate to see this, and this is just my opinion, not theirs, you're going to see drugs, you're going to see crime rate go up. It's just, in my opinion, it's not a good thing. Now, does my heart bleed for those homeless people? Absolutely. Do I help homeless people all the time in different ways where I give money to foundations to help homeless people become better people? Absolutely. Do I donate my own time? Yes, I do. But I think it has its place, right? I think save that for the big cities, right? There's one in Chattanooga. I've been to it personally. It's actually a nice place. They have their own kitchen. They have their own place to buy groceries and everything. Their own place to buy clothing in that facility. And that's great. And that's where it belongs, in a big city, not a little city. That's just...
Well, I think the church has also played a big part in helping people, especially in South South Pittsburgh. I know
there's a problem that we're having now. Rent has gone up so much, and housing prices have gone up so much that there are a lot of working folks that can't afford housing. And according to the McKinney-Vento Act, they're classified as homeless. They may be staying with a sibling or a parent. A lot of times they are. But there is a very real homeless problem in Marion County.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that. Prime example of the great people in Jasper Highlands, someone from my church was getting some public housing, right? Had nothing. No furniture, no clothing, no pots, no pans, no dishes, nothing. I made a plea out to the Jasper Highlands people on my Facebook page, and they all came running. They all came running. And that house was filled to the top. And they have 5 kids, I think 4 or 5 kids, and we took care of everyone. We got toys, dishes, couches, TVs, bedding, beds, everything. And that's what it's all about, is giving back to those communities. And so I'm well aware of the homeless situation, or the poverty here. My church, Mount Bethlehem, we just donated, me and my wife, 2 bags of clothes just yesterday at Bible study. And we went with the lady there to where they keep them, and they have a huge room full of clothes, because that's what they do. And that's what this community does, is it gives back to the community. So we're helping. Are we helping enough? I don't know. I think, but the way to fix that situation, talk about where rent's going up, people can't afford it, get better jobs.
Get what?
Better
jobs.
Get
better jobs here.
Marine industry, yeah.
Yep, but you got to get educated first, right? So we fix the education, we get the jobs, problem solved. It's not that simple, but it's that simple.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for coming.
And thank you guys for tuning in tonight for Marion County Hardball. And we'll see you next time.
Remember, November 23rd, we're going to give away 100 turkeys to people who need them. So we'll be in contact.
We'll be in contact. We'll get you
Thanks,
on.
everybody.
Thank you.